The Odyssey. There has been a lot of loud yelling online about the Odyssey for some reason, and so today I am going to answer the simple question: is it worth going and seeing it? Should you be spending your money and time to go to your nearest theater and see the Odyssey? Simple answer: yes. Yes, very much so. If you go out and see any movie in theaters this year, I would say probably you should go see the Odyssey. But it's a little more nuanced than that. I want to explain some things I liked a lot about the movie. I want to explain some things I didn't like that much, and we're going to get into some things. This will be a completely spoiler-free review. I'm not going to be talking about spoilers for the movie. I'm probably going to be streaming some in the next couple weeks, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more in depth and spoil things there. But without further ado, let's talk about the Odyssey. So for starters, just so that you can get a kind of basic plot, the Odyssey follows Odysseus after the Trojan War, and a little bit during the Trojan War, but mostly after the Trojan War, trying to return home to his kingdom of Ithaca. And right off the rip, I want to talk about the performances. Matt Damon, I have not seen a lot of movies with him in it, but he gives, of what I have seen, a career best. Really complicated character that he pulls off very well. That is great. And I am fixing to say something that is potentially a little mean-spirited, but hear me out. Tom Holland has very much been limited by the scripts he has been given. He is a good actor, don't get me wrong, but when I found out that he was cast in this, I was mildly concerned. And guess what? He knocks it out of the park. He does a great job. Honestly, I fully believed in him as Telemachus. Thought he did a great job. Thought he knocked it out of the park. Thought it was great. Also, when it comes to, like, career bests in a role, I have seen Anne Hathaway in a lot more than I have seen Matt Damon. And I honestly also think this is an Anne Hathaway career best. I wish that she was given a little bit more to do, but the scenes that she is in, and specifically the scenes between her and Telemachus, work really well. Those scenes play out fantastically, they're tense, and I think she absolutely knocked it out of the park. Obviously, the acting all across the spectrum is really good. Obviously, Robert Pattinson is great. He plays such a good villain. I occasionally forget how devious of a villain he can play until I see him in a villain role, and then it's like, oh yeah, that guy can really make you just hate him. Speaking of villain roles, I did want to point out one other performance that I haven't seen that much being talked about, and I honestly think it's a little bit of an underrated performance. Corey Hawkins as Polybus, I don't fully know how to say it, but his acting as Polybus, we're gonna call him that, made me just hate the character so much, like despise the character. He knocked it out of the park. Top tier villain acting. Very good. And he is specifically a performance that I have not really seen talked about online much at all. And I loved it. Me and my dad saw this in IMAX for the first time, and he just really, every time he was just speaking, he had this slime about him, and I was like, I don't like it. And Robert Pattinson very much had the same thing, but specifically Corey Hawkins, I despised as a villain so much more. And it's mainly mild spoilers, because he kicks the dog. I don't like it when people kick dogs, and that specifically was like, and he just continues to exemplify those character traits before. It's really good. I also wanted to praise the writing of the movie. The characters do occasionally, once or twice, take you out of the movie with some more modern lingo, but at the same time, I also don't really want to watch a movie in KJV, if that makes sense. I don't want these and thous to be in every other sentence. So it was only a couple times, but like 2 or 3 words throughout the movie, 2 or 3 times throughout the movie, there was a very clear, not disconnect necessarily, but I was kind of like, I just don't feel like that was the right choice of words. Specifically, one that I'm thinking of is one time and I know he says it in the trailers, but in the movie it is relatively jarring. Tom Holland says, "My dad is coming home" at one point. And that, I was like, I feel like saying "my father is coming home" would have been, but that, I'm nitpicking there. Another slight little nitpick that I have is with regards to the editing. In the first act, there is a lot of jumping around, and that got a little aggravating. I do still think it flows relatively well, but compared to acts 2 and 3, the first act feels a lot more clunky than the rest of the film. Once again, that is just me kind of nitpicking, because we time jump so often in that first act, it feels a little more disjointed than the rest of the movie. But we do have to give credit where credit is due. Jennifer Lame, the editor of this movie, does an absolutely fantastic job, specifically the third act. The third act is paced so incredibly well, and that's obviously Jennifer Lame's work, but that's also Christopher Nolan as a writer working. That combination just goes absolutely sicko mode in the third act. It's really, really great to see. The third act has this one particular set piece, and you know what set piece I'm talking about if you've seen the movie, and if you don't, go watch the movie, because it's really, really good. But it just knocked it dead. The theater I was in all 3 times absolutely loved it, and it just hit really, really well. And yes, I have seen this 3 times. I would personally recommend seeing it multiple times, but obviously, I know that is not a possibility for everybody, but genuinely, if you have a chance to see this, you don't have to see it in IMAX format. I'm very, very thankful that I got to go see it in IMAX. It was not 70mm IMAX, it was LIMAX, but still, regardless, it's just such a sweeping, epic, it's such a grand movie. I don't feel like many movies feel as high scale as this movie does, if that makes sense. It feels like it truly is an epic that spans 20 years, but doesn't feel like a horribly long movie. I was really worried. I was like, almost 3-hour runtime. Oppenheimer felt like a very long movie, so I was like, I'm really, really praying that the Odyssey doesn't. It does not end up feeling very long at all. In fact, it ends up feeling like it absolutely flew by. A quick nitpick that I would like to mention, though, is that the movie does get very loud a couple times. I would argue detrimentally loud twice. It's probably about 5 or 6 times overall throughout the movie where I'm like, this is really loud, this is a little much. Only 2 of those times do I think it should have not been quite as loud as it was. If you've seen the movie, you probably know exactly which 2 scenes I'm talking about that I think should not have been quite as loud as they were, because it's almost like, like, whoa, headache-inducing type volume, but it's not the end of the world. Once again, that's just kind of me nitpicking. I have seen some people online talk about how the sound mix is, once again, Christopher Nolan makes the score way louder than the talking. I didn't personally have that problem. I pretty much knew what every character was saying almost the whole time, so that's obviously, some theaters are going to have their sound mixed differently. I didn't have a problem seeing this in IMAX or standard format like the second and third time I saw this. I didn't have a problem with understanding the dialogue, but obviously some people, the score is very loud. It does become overwhelming a couple times. There's one moment that's just absolutely beautiful. It uses the track from the score, Sirens. I'll let you guess what is happening during that scene. That's probably my second favorite scene of the entire movie. It's just it's so good and so moving all throughout that scene. I can't recommend the movie enough, honestly. If you go see a movie, I know I've said this twice already, but if you go see a movie, just one, in theaters this year, I would highly recommend this one. It is great. And I am going to super, super quickly address the elephant in the room, which is people being mad online about this. Is it historically accurate? Probably not. Is it ruined? by actors and actresses being in the movie? And is it ruined by the translation that was used to formulate the script for the movie? No, not at all. I cannot personally fathom, like, why the arguments being leveraged at this movie are being leveraged. Take that however you want to. I'm a chronic fence sitter. But I just didn't understand why people were being mad about this movie. And I still can't really understand why. It's just... It's really, really good. It's probably my favorite movie of the year so far. I do want to address, though, is it perfect? No, not at all. It's obviously got flaws. Every movie has some flaws. But is it my favorite Christopher Nolan movie? No, not quite. I still like The Dark Knight a little bit more than this. But that is personal biases. I think this is great. It definitely makes it into top 3 Nolan for me. And it was a fantastic time, and I honestly couldn't recommend it enough. But have you seen the Odyssey? Did you agree with the points I made? Do you not agree with the points I made? I feel like I'm just regurgitating things that other people have probably made points of. I've only watched one other review for this movie because I try and keep my thoughts as, like, my own thoughts, and this was just great. I just really, really enjoyed it, and it was a really solid time overall. It was an absolute masterclass in filmmaking. The thing looked beautiful. The whole every frame a painting type scenario definitely applies to this movie. But once again, have you seen the Odyssey? Did you like it? Let me know in the comments down below. And consider watching this movie review here. I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it. I think you will. Be tantalized by it. God, tantalized, that's a good word. Get tantalized.